was sleeping. A nice proper sleep. And then massa, a pain licked me. And when I felt that pain, I knew right there and then that I was in labor. And then I said that I felt like I wanted to push because I should leave the room. That's when I felt like I wanted to push. I was like, babe, I want to push, I want to push. And he said, no, you're not ready to push. And I was like, babe, I am ready to push. And he's like, no, guys, that was terrible. It's like, you really want to push and they're like saying that you're not ready. It felt horrible and I was trying so hard. Trust me, I feel like I pushed a couple times. I felt like I pushed a couple times, but then, you know, she came in the room and then they checked me and I was like 9 centimeters, and then she was like, listen, carry her to the delivery room, and they pushed me off and carried me to the delivery room. And I was there, they put me on the bed. Trust me, it feel like I was like holding back. I was holding back and they were like, don't push, and I was trying not to push so hard. That urge is just there. And then afterwards, what? Yes, I was trying not to push, but the urge was there to push. So afterwards I was ready. So the midwife was like, all right, it's time to push, and they told me to put my hand behind my head and to just brace up a bit and put my foot. I don't remember what they told me, trust me. During that time they tell me some steps and I don't remember what they told me, but they said that, you know, this is how you push. And I tried, and maybe they push all long. She said push, and I was there pushing. In my head I was pushing. And she's like, you're not pushing. I was like, yes, I am pushing. And she's like, no, you're not pushing. And in my head I was like pushing like crazy, but then I realized that the push that I was pushing was a completely different push from the push that they want. I don't know what in God's name I was doing, but it was definitely not pushing. But then finally I got the grip of it and I pushed, and when I pushed I felt the difference and I was like, okay. And he was like coming and I felt it, and it was like, to me the pain, it was more a urge to push more. You know, it's like the urge was more than the pain. I don't know how to explain that. The pain wasn't that much, it was just the urge to push. It was like you want to pass your stool. When you try to hold it back, it kind of give you that feeling. Yeah, it was kind of like that. So when I was pushing, she was like telling me to push through the burn and stuff like that. She said I must continue pushing through the burn, and she said I'm not pushing good. I'm even because of the woman until I said, miss me a push. You have to miss me now push me a push and stuff like that. And she's like, do it like what I told you to do it. And I said, but you know, explain it good to me. And I was like cursing, and she was like, Annalisa, calm down, just calm down. And I was there cursing because I needed this boy out. Anyway, and I remember while pushing, the nurse gave out, the midwife gave out and told me to stop. She shouted, stop, don't push anymore. So I was like, what? Huh? What? Yes. So she told me to stop. She's like, suddenly gave out, stop, don't push. So I was like, okay, and I was like in the middle of contraction. I was like, but I can't stop. And she was like, don't push. Then I realized that I heard when she said, the card is wrapped around the baby's neck. Don't push. So I was like trying not to push. And she was there. They were there for a while because I was in between contraction when they told me not to push. That went away, and then another contraction came on. I had to hold it, and she's like, don't. And she was trying to cut, and I overheard them saying that the card is wrapped around his neck twice. So I was trying so hard, and then they finally cut the card, and then she said, okay, push. And then I pushed, and I felt him came out. And then when he came out, they took him same time, and I was really anticipating to get him in my hand. I was waiting to get him in my hand, but they had to take him away, because they said that he wasn't crying. So they took him away, and I didn't get to see him. So I was like just lying there asking for my son. I was like, can I see my baby please? And they were like, Miss, one of the lady was like, Miss, I told you what happened. She wasn't pleasant, to be honest with you. She was not really pleasant. And she was like, Miss, I told you what happened. You can't see the baby. And I was like, why? I want to see him. But what gave me a little bit of comfort was the fact that my husband was in the labor room and the delivery room, and he could actually see the baby. Because I was worried about them taking away, when you see your story of people taking away people baby, that was in my mind, right? And I did not want them to take him away, and they said that he wasn't breathing properly. So when they took him from me, I did not see him until long after. A nurse said that, I heard when she said that, listen, we need to carry the baby to show her the mother, the child, and she took him to me. I felt like I was going to black out, but I look at him, and then I don't know what happened after that. I was like in and out of it. Afterwards, they cleaned me up, realized that I got a 2nd-degree tear. Yes, so the push that she told me to push through the burning was the tear that I was getting. Yes, so I got a 2nd-degree tear, and they had to stitch me up. And after they stitched me up, they asked me if I could manage to go and see him, to see the baby, and I was like, yeah, listen, yes. So I went, and he was in a separate room. And then when I went to see him, he was on oxygen. Yes, my baby was on oxygen. So he was like breathing pretty fast, like really fast, and my husband said to me that he passed his stool inside of me and he drank some of that. So yes, while I was looking at him, and I was touching him and stuff, because I couldn't lift him up, I couldn't hold him, I started to feel like I was going to pass out. The entire place get blurry and dark. So they put me in a wheelchair, and they sent me up to my room. They said that they was going to take him to me while I was in my room, but they did not. They did not take him to me. Hey, I was wondering why they weren't taking him to me, and then my husband called me and told me that it is a possibility that they are going to admit him into nursery. So I was like, why? And he was saying that, hi. So they told me, he called me and told me that I was not going to get him, because they admitted him to nursery because he was still breathing fast, and they had to prescribe some antibiotics for him. So I was like, I was so worried, guys. I was like literally worried. I was so worried. I mean, I was saying that I don't want anything to happen to my baby and stuff. So I was wondering if he was going to live. I was wondering if he was going to live, or if he was going to, I don't know. There were so many thoughts going through my head at that time. I didn't want to lose him at all. So I was so worried. Tears came to my eyes. And my husband said that they were going to admit him and stuff, and then he said that in the evening after, because I had baby about 6 o'clock. Oh, I didn't tell you what time I had baby. I had baby at 6 o'clock. So I felt the contraction at 2, and then I had baby at 6. Yes, so it was pretty quick. So I went to see him in the evening. When I saw my baby, it was heartbreaking. He was in tube. He was shrink up. Every time I think about it, it like bring tears to my eyes, because he was like string up from. He had tube on his throat, and he was like having oxygen over his nose, and it was so sad to see him like that. And I prayed. I was trying not to worry, because I'm a strong believer in God, and I tried my very best not to worry about it. So I called my pastor, I texted my pastor, and I told him to pray, and I told my friends to pray. I didn't really tell them the whole entire details. I guess this is the first time they're going to see the story. So I did not tell them the whole entire details. So, hey. So I told him to pray, and I just have hope that he was going to pull through. So he had in the drip, he had drips, and he was in an incubator. So I couldn't touch him, I couldn't lift him up, I couldn't. It was horrible. And when I went there, they said that he was going to be there. He was going to be in the nursery for a couple days. Yes. They said that he was going to be in the nursery for a couple days, and that they weren't going to release him because he's going to be on antibiotics and stuff like that. So, hey, Bubba. Hey, Bubba. Hey, Bubba. So I went back to my room and I went to sleep, and I went to sleep crying. I went to sleep crying. I saw this lady. I was in a room with this lady, and I saw her baby. She and her baby, and I did not have mine. So every time people ask me what happened to your baby, I tell them that he's in nursery and stuff. So yes. So I had to go and see him. When the following day I went to see him, he was still on the machine. He was still on the incubator, and I took pictures of him. And my husband told me not to share it with anyone, but I took pictures with him in the incubator. And yes, I prayed a lot. I believe in God, and I prayed a lot. And then a couple days after, I went home because they asked me if I wanted to stay at the hospital because I could actually stay there. They asked me if I wanted to stay at the hospital because I could actually stay, or if I wanted to go home. So I told them that I would just go home. So I went home without him. I went back there the following day. So he was in the hospital for a week, and they told me that he was going to come out because I had him the Thursday, and they told me that he was going to come out the Monday, or I think it was the Monday or the Wednesday. He was going to come out, and when I go there, I went there every day to see him. Every day I went to see him, he was doing much better. Thanks be to God. Prayers work, and he was doing much better. They took him out of the incubator, and he could not. At first, they weren't giving him feed, and they had to wheel him off the machine. And I went there, and they told me that they would have to admit him for a couple more days. I cried because I was like going home every day without my baby. So I cried a lot, guys. I cried a lot. But when I got hope when I went there and I saw him, and he was doing like much better. And then they moved him up from room 3, and they put him to room 2. He was in room 2 for a while, and I couldn't breastfeed him from like a small amount of formula every now and anticipating on feeding him, and they told me that I couldn't feed him. When I went there, I think it was 3 days after I stopped. One day they told me that I should express milk, and I left it at the nursery for him, and he got that because I didn't want to give him any formula at all. I wanted for him to just have straight breast. That was our decision, for him to get just the breast milk only. It wasn't coming down at first, but then it slowly came down after a while. So yeah, and I remember, hey, yes, I remember when I'm going to call Kimani for you, okay? Hold on. So my baby had a lot of hair. My baby have a lot of hair on his head with nice full head of hair. And I remember one day I went and they shave. I saw him and they shaved the side of his head, guys. And I went and saw my baby head side shaved. Tears again came to my eyes, and I was like, why did you guys shave my baby's head? Why did you shave my baby's head? And I was like, tears was like there. and then they told me that they had to shave the side because the veins in his hand, because they're babies, the veins collapse, you know, they couldn't find any veins to pass the IV access, so they had to look, they shaved his head to look for veins in his head. It was a hard pill to swallow. It was a very hard pill to swallow. Because when I went, I saw where they stick him to access his vein, but it couldn't work. So they had to find back somewhere in his hand to do it. And then you know what got me upset? They take him off the drip the following day. Yes, so he didn't need any IV access. So they could have waited, I think. But I was upset about that. But then my husband said to me that it's either they shave his head or he dies. Which one do you prefer? So I was like, okay. But he was a bit upset about it too, because you know, to see a pitney with them head side shave off, it never looked nice. It did just look weird. He had this weird look, and I didn't like it. And then I heard the same day I heard that he was not going to come home with me because they started another dose of antibiotics and stuff like that, and they would not release him until he's finished taking the antibiotics. So I did not want to take photos of him at first, but then thanks be to God, my baby's an ugly baby. The look actually fit him, so I am happy that it fits him, it suits him. He came out of the hospital the Friday, so he spent like 1 week in nursery. It was hard for me because after you have baby, you know, you have to take care of yourself. Seeing that I was being stitched, traveling back and forth wasn't nice. It was very painful to just have baby, and I live like 30 minutes away from the hospital, so I have to travel back and forth to the hospital every single day to look for my baby. It was not pleasant to be traveling back and forth to see him, but I never let a day go by without visiting him. So yeah, that's that. So he came home with me on the Friday of the following week, and I surprised my family. So I surprised them when they saw him. They were like super excited because they did not know that he was going to come on. As a matter of fact, when I went to the hospital and they told me that he was going to come home, I was like, stop telling me lie. And the nurse was like, why would I lie to you? And I was like, and she's like, yes, he's going home today. And I was like, because I was saying that he wouldn't go home until the Monday. So they said that no, he's going home today. Your baby's going home today. And I was like, what? I was so excited. I was like super excited when they told me that he was going home today. I didn't tell my family, so I just went home and surprised them. When my mother-in-law saw him, she was like, oh my God! And she screamed. And when my mother saw him, everybody was so happy. And I remember at one point when I went to the hospital and I came home without him, I slept with his clothes, the clothes that they put him in the day he was born. They put him in a clothes, and I slept with that clothes beside me, smelling it every day. That sounds weird, but yes. And I look at his picture like every single day. But I did not tell anyone because I'm a very secretive person, and I'm hoping for that to change. But it's not everything I tell people like upfront, so I kind of hold it. And every time they text me and ask if the baby's okay, I was like, yes, he's okay, I'm okay, stuff like that. But I did not tell him that he was in nursery. Some people just knowing that some people probably watching this video, they'll just know that he was in the nursery and that he went through. But his hair is growing back. He's doing well. Yeah, he's very healthy, and I'm so happy. Motherhood now is another story. I don't know if I'll give my update on motherhood, but it's another story because it's tiresome and it takes a lot out of you. So yes, that is my delivery and birth story. my baby is now 3 months old. We've been bonding. When I had him at first, I was worried that we wouldn't have that bond, because I wanted to have the experience of when you push your baby out, that they'll just give him to you and you have that skin to skin bonding with him. I did not have that because I could not hold him. His father held him when he in the first part, but then after he went into the incubator, I couldn't hold him. His father couldn't hold him. But when I finally get to hold him, at first I did not have that bond. I felt like it was like, yeah, I know that I have a baby, but it didn't feel like it to me. I didn't feel like he's mine per se. So I was wondering if he was going to forget me, but thanks be to God, he did not forget his mother. They said that baby don't forget their mother, so he did not forget me. I think we built that bond, and right now our bond is stronger than ever before. Yes. So yes, so that is my birth and delivery story. I hope I did not sad you with my story. Yes, thank you guys so much for joining. Thank you for watching my video. Thank you for joining us. If there is any question you'd like to ask us, if there's any video that you want us to do, if there's anything that you want to know about the Russell family, I'm going to ask you to let me know. So let me know what you want to know about us, what content you want us to put out, and stuff like that. I'm going to attend to my baby, my bundle of joy. So thank you guys so much for watching. See you in our next video. It's not focusing. See you guys in our next video. Bye for now. Mwah.